I guess the question is, we talk a lot about Bird Box, and I get that. But is that really why the stock has moved?
I think, the context is we had an awful, end of the year in 2018 for the FANG stocks, and Netflix was included in that. So it was set up for some good news to kind of help the stock. And I think the thing that's really fueling the optimism right now is the Golden Globes performance. Netflix's whole strategy is built on creating original content and outspending any competitors by a wide margin and using that content to bring in new subscribers.
The idea of outspending their competitors seems like actually just a bad, no one usually gives people credit for the outspending strategy.
They don't if it doesn't work, but in Netflix's case, it appears to really be working, and the evidence that it's working is twofold. One is, what you saw in the awards, which is like these shows are earning critical acclaim, and that critical acclaim resonates with potential subscribers. And the second thing is you see it show up in the subscriber number. So, they're just adding millions of subscribers every quarter. Last quarter, about 1 million in the U.S. and about 6 million internationally. This content strategy is really working. And
on the spending front, what do you think is the upper limit of what they can spend, or as a percentage? I don't know how you model it out.
From a cash flow perspective, they're a long way from being tapped out. They're going to do $8 billion in 2018. They've hinted at around $10 billion in 2019. We'll see if that holds up. They've got plenty of capacity to spend more than that. I think it's more of a talent and production capacity.
So, but the second question then is, we got Disney coming up, and we have Apple. I was actually going to ask you, we talked about it yesterday, Apple just announced this deal with Samsung at CES, where they're going to actually have the Apple TV functionality available right there on the TV.
Yeah.
And they can actually search through Netflix, search through Apple things, search through everybody's stuff. So how does that change the dynamic at all?
You're going to see more competition, and you're going to see, these little bundles of content, whether it's from HBO or Netflix or Disney, springing up as sort of the new channels in this new world of interactive television. Netflix is trying to go after subscribers through a whole bunch of different avenues, including their own bundling partnerships. They're on Verizon phones now. They're doing a lot of bundling deals with pay TV operators internationally. And again, it's really working. They're trying to just reduce the friction of a new potential member signing up for the service and making it as easy as, clicking a button.
Where do you put a Hulu in this, or an Amazon relative to everybody else?
Slightly different strategy. I think that it's smart of Netflix to go after content that they really own, because in the future, when it's just really easy to switch from content package to content package, you don't want the same content that everybody else has. And I think Netflix is doing a good job of capitalizing.
What did you think of the decision to pull one of the shows that it was critical of MBS in Saudi Arabia, to pull it from Saudi? What does that say actually about their content strategy long term globally? Because it means, I imagine, that there's certain types of content they actually can't get into. People always thought, could they ever get into the news business, for example? That would actually be a hard business to get into if they're going to do critical stories about places that may not look fondly upon that.
They've consistently, stuck to the strategy of they want to invest in content that is on demand, and they don't want to do sports. They don't, want to do news. They're doing a lot more unscripted.
But they are doing documentaries and things like that.
Yeah, and that's.
But there could be critical documentaries about certain things.
They're definitely trying to develop local market content, local language content around the world. That's a huge focus in India, for example, in the coming couple of years. And again, it all comes back to the subscribers. I think in Europe, they're getting pressure to develop at least, a portion of the content in some countries locally.